Hey everyone, I'm Jaden,
And I'm Noah.
and we are the Super Gamer Bros, and this is the Super Gamer Bros podcast. We're just a couple of brothers who love playing games and love talking about games, so that's what we do. And today, Noah, we are talking about Batman Arkham Knight.
Finally,
Yeah, we are finally finishing the Arkham series. It's about time, I guess. It's probably what most people are thinking.
it's not about time at all, though.
Oh, okay.
Time travel joke. No. Yeah, no. Did we do Origins?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So this is the final game in the what is considered the Arkham trilogy. It is so called that obviously because it's the three Arkham games that were made by Rocksteady, who created the series. And I think overall, like, I would call this a pretty decent ending to the trilogy. Obviously, it's not perfect. You can't be happy with every sequel, I guess. But all in all, I definitely enjoyed the game as much as any other Arkham game.
Yeah, I would have to say I agree. This game actually, when it came out, I remember you had played it. I think like we were still in high school when it came out. It was our senior year, I think. And I we had planned on like sitting together playing through it, but I was busy. Like I forget what I was doing. I just remember like I was like there was like a weekend where I was like busy doing something and you just like I remember texted me one like Saturday night and you're like, "Hey, I already beat it."
Yeah, I
And
was
I
gonna
was
say this game is the longest continuous runtime of any game I've ever played.
I have the
I
exact
got it
same.
midnight release. I started playing it. I beat the game 16 hours later without stopping. I've never played a game like that. But
I
that being
actually
said, I guess I really enjoyed the game.
I completely separately did the exact same thing. I remember I think it was not long after you had finished it. I was like, "Well, crap, I want to beat it." It was like a weekend. It was like a Saturday. I started playing the game at noon and I finished it at 4 a.m. the next morning is when the credits started rolling. 16 straight hours, just like you. So I also really enjoyed it, I guess.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah,
But
like
when you look at it that way, like, main quest only 16 hours, that's a pretty short game.
no, I would say it is shorter because that 16 hours is with me doing a bunch of side mission stuff. Like I would break off and do, get some Riddler trophies or do like a section of this side missions and stuff whenever I wanted to, like whenever just I was like, oh, let me do this thing right now. It wasn't until I got to like the kind of very end you have an option pretty much to like keep doing side stuff or just finish the story. And at that point I was like, screw it, I'll just finish the story now. But I mean I could have kept going if I wanted to. But yeah, it
I
was
mean, the story itself, I actually really loved. Like from the beginning and the middle, I loved. The end was the problem I was the part I had a problem with.
I completely agree with you there. It was not the entire ending, but there were that we will definitely talk about certain aspects of the end that I would say lessened the experience. Like, oh man, like this game would be awesome, man, but this one thing, like I didn't like that.
Yeah, there's like two or three of those things, but everything else is great.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, this is the record for longest single video game session I've ever done, and I don't think it'll ever be beaten. Just because
I
I
don't think
don't.
I'll ever have time to beat it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't think I'll ever have time to just sit and play a game for 16 hours straight.
So you want to get into the setting?
Yeah, sure. Let's just get into it. So 9 months after the death of Joker during the events of Arkham City, Batman is struggling to come to terms with the absence of his nemesis and the uncomfortable feeling that the pair shared a bond deeper than either could admit. Without the Joker's chaotic presence, Gotham citizens have never felt safer, and crime in the city has dramatically declined. However, this gives Batman's enemies, including Penguin, Riddler, Two-Face, and Harley Quinn, a chance to unite with the singular goal of killing Batman. Having anticipated a new threat, Batman has continued to develop crime-fighting technology and maintain a vigil over the city. On Halloween night, Scarecrow threatens the city with his newly created strain of fear toxin and bombs planted throughout Gotham, forcing the evacuation of the city's 6 million civilians. Only criminals remain in the city, leaving Commissioner Gordon and the Gotham City Police Department outnumbered. And that's where the story begins. In terms of the map, Arkham Knight's Gotham City, all of Gotham City is explorable. The map is approximately 5 times the scale of Arkham City, the Arkham City map. The game takes place in the center of the city, which is split into 3 islands, Bleak, Founders, and Miyagani, each with various districts such as Chinatown and the Industrial Shipping Yard. Bleak Island features kind of shorter buildings, disheveled areas, abandoned docks. Founders Island is a modern development of skyscrapers built on the ruins of Gotham's slums. And Miyagani is an older metropolis with Wayne Tower at its center. Oracle has set up, it's a very big map.
Yeah, it is like in reality, but in the game, to me, like it never really felt like it was so big. Like when you play Skyrim and you put a marker on the other side of the map, it feels like you're never going to get there. But in Arkham Knight, it's pretty fast, and that's probably just due to the movement in the game.
Well, yeah, no, it's much like Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, although, I guess Arkham did it first. Their traversal is just so fluid and just quick that it really does help shrink the map. But this one was, I definitely noticed the size difference compared to, Arkham City and even Arkham Origins. It was just a very big map. Yeah, I guess it is, I think, how you described it, which is the same of how I felt about Spider-Man, where I would say put a marker on the map that is like across the map, and I'd be like, oh my god, it's so far. But then, I'd be there without even thinking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, getting to the story. On Halloween, Scarecrow forces the civilian evacuation of Gotham City after threatening to unleash his potent new fear toxin. Batman tracks Scarecrow to a hideout where he rescues the imprisoned Poison Ivy, who had refused to join Batman's other rogues in Scarecrow's plot. Oracle identifies Ace Chemicals as the source of Scarecrow's toxin. Batman investigates the facility and discovers a massive militia force being dispatched to occupy Gotham, led by the mysterious Arkham Knight. Batman locates Scarecrow, who has transformed the entire building into a toxin bomb. Scarecrow reveals that he has kidnapped Oracle before escaping, and exposing himself to the toxin, Batman inhibits the bomb's blast radius before he is confronted by the Joker. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Right. So 2 things to unpack here. First of all, the Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight.
Let's talk about like the promotion of the Arkham Knight. What was he originally?
As far as I could tell, he was just a new character that hated Batman and was working with Scarecrow.
Exactly. But it was heavily stressed that the Arkham Knight was a completely new character created by Rocksteady Studios.
That is correct.
And I was all for that.
Yeah, no, because especially when he was first announced and stuff, when he was first shown off, I got very big like Red Hood vibes, and I didn't want that. I like, not that I don't like the story of Red Hood Jason Todd, but it felt weird for him to be in the Arkhamverse. Like, it didn't feel like he fit. So I really liked when they were like, this is because they even came out and said like, hey, let's put these rumors to bed. He is not Red Hood. He is not Jason Todd. He is a new character. And I was like, good. I'm all for that. I don't want Jason Todd. I think adding the whole Red Hood, Jason Todd story into what was already going to be a very full story with a lot of rogues, a lot of characters, I feel like would have made it a little, bloated.
Yes, I believe that's how most of us felt going into the game. And I do love Rocksteady because they just come out and they just lie straight to our faces all the time. They're like, no, the Joker is not in this game. You know, how many
Yeah,
times did they say that?
yeah, a lot. Um, anyway, flashback reveals that before the Joker died, his infected blood was used in blood transfusions, infecting 5 people, including Batman, who concealed his infection from others and imprisoned the 4 other patients who were physically and mentally transforming into the Joker. The Joker, now existing as a mental projection produced by the infected blood and fear toxin, frequently appears to taunt Batman and manipulate his perception of reality. After Batman escapes the exploding ace chemicals, he alerts Gordon to his daughter's kidnapping, revealing that she aids his vigilantism. Gordon, feeling betrayed, angrily leaves to find Scarecrow on his own. Um, now this it says here, that Batman was the 5th person infected by the Joker's blood. In the story, that's not revealed until way later, like almost towards the end, because it's like you have these 4 people, and there's a 5th cell, but you don't know who it's for.
That doesn't make any sense though, because as soon as he sees the Joker, you know that it's because of the blood.
I thought it was because the fear toxin. I thought the whole time. I thought I was not happy with the whole Batman is the 5th Joker thing because of the fact that, like, I guess with Batman taking like the Titan cure and stuff. Uh, I'd assume that that would kill Joker's blood, like his cells, because his cells were infected with Titan. Like I assumed that would that would have cured Batman from that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I felt that was kind of, yeah, I always thought it was just the fear toxin that kept Joker there, and I did not like the twist of like, oh, Batman's turning into the Joker.
I was upset at first just because I didn't want the Joker again, but having him only be in Batman's head and not actually be like a threat in the world or an impact in the plot of the game, I thought it was like the best of both worlds because you get the experience of the Joker, but he's not the main villain
No,
again.
I very much agree with what you're saying because, I love Mark Hamill's Joker. Hearing just every little thing he said was great, but I am glad that I think he took up a little too much screen time. But overall, the Arkham series is about Batman's relationship with the Joker. So, like, I can't say it was unexpected or anything. Uh, but so like, I wish he was in it a little less. But at the same time, he's for the most part just a little side part of the game, and I do like that. Anyway, just continuing on. Batman learns that Scarecrow has recruited businessman Simon Stagg to build the Cloud Burst, a mass dispersal device for fear toxin. Aboard Stagg's airship, Batman finds Scarecrow, but a large dose of fear toxin allows the Joker's persona to temporarily assume control of Batman's body while the Arkham Knight extracts the Cloud Burst. Recovering, Batman locates Oracle in Scarecrow's hideout, but when he arrives, she is exposed to the fear toxin and commits suicide in terror. Harley Quinn seizes Batman's makeshift base inside the Panessa Film Studio to rescue the Jokerized patients. Batman and Robin capture Harley and the infected Jokers, but one of the patients, a man named Henry Adams, kills the others before committing suicide, believing that Batman will become the perfect Joker. Realizing that Batman is infected, Robin attempts to imprison him before the Joker takes control, but is instead imprisoned by Batman, who refuses to stop until Scarecrow is caught. Pause for a second here. This is the moment where they had that kind of option where you could allow yourself to be arrested by Robin, like not arrested, but like locked up by Robin, or uh, throw him in the cell.
Yeah.
I thought that was dumb.
I thought it was dumb just because nothing came out of it. It wasn't rewarding like when they did it with Catwoman.
Yeah, like I mean, it's very much they clearly did it because of the Catwoman thing, and the Catwoman thing was very cool. And this just seemed like they're like, I don't know, someone was like, "Hey, we could do this. That'd be cool," and nobody was. Everyone was tired that day, and they just let it slide. I don't know. It was dumb. I just wanted my 2 cents on that to be heard. So the Arkham Knight activates the Cloudburst, flooding the city with fear toxin. Batman destroys the drone carrying the Cloudburst and convinces Ivy to empower an ancient tree that can neutralize the toxin. She succeeds and saves Gotham, but the exertion kills her. While Batman's exposure to the toxin strengthens Joker's control over his psyche. Batman pursues the Arkham Knight to a construction site to rescue Gordon. The Knight reveals himself as Jason Todd, the previous Robin, who was tortured and seemingly murdered by the Joker, and has since been left traumatized. Todd blames Batman for abandoning him, and although Batman offers to help Todd recover, he escapes. Batman and Gordon confront Scarecrow on the building's roof, where Oracle is revealed to be alive, her suicide having been a hallucination. Batman rescues Oracle and returns her to Gotham City Police Department, but Scarecrow escapes with Gordon hostage. Using the remaining militia, Scarecrow assaults the GCPD to eliminate Batman's allies. Batman and Oracle neutralize the militia, but Scarecrow uses the distraction to kidnap Robin. Pause. Noah, it's Jason Todd.
I know. Such a bummer.
Yeah, I was not happy.
Yes, it's a bummer because like these, and you know it is early in this game because they spend a lot of time talking about Jason Todd when they never have in any of the other games.
Yeah. This was one of those things where I knew it was coming, but the entire time I was just hoping it was like throwing you off. Because literally at one point when Batman's having his hallucinations, you like are in Arkham and you're seeing, Joker torturing Jason Todd over and over again, and like at the end, like he shoots him. And also, like, even I think early on in the game, like somebody brings him up just kind of out of nowhere when he hasn't been mentioned in the previous two games at all. And I was like, oh man, they're really setting it up for him to be Jason Todd, but I'm really hoping that's just a red herring and he's some other guy. And no, they went right with Jason Todd.
Yeah, it was a bummer, but it's still their take on Jason Todd. I still enjoy the Arkham Knight. It's still a fun experience, but it was a letdown. It should have been another character with a whole different story, like maybe some random person from one of the earlier Arkham games.
I mean, it's like literally even one of the things that I absolutely give more credit to the Telltale Batman series for doing. If you recall, like I can't remember her name, but it's like the Children of Arkham, like that whole
yeah.
thing. And like there's that evil like I think it's like isn't it like Vicky
Yes.
Vale or ends up
You're
being
right.
like that
That was
person?
a better original villain than the
Yeah.
Arkham Knight. You're so
Like
right.
that was basically the Arkham Knight. Like that's what the Arkham Knight I felt like should have been in this game was like a character who, it was just
Yeah,
like
it would have been perfect too because it would have been about Arkham and it could have tied back to the asylum and
yeah,
missed
like
the mark on that one.
yeah, like it's just Red Hood with a different name. Like that's all it is, Like he's still doing that the exact same thing as Red Hood. It's just not Red Hood,
True.
And yeah, so that's why I'm just really annoyed by that. Anyway, to save Robin and Gordon, Batman surrenders to Scarecrow and is taken to the ruins of Arkham Asylum. Scarecrow reveals Batman's secret identity, Bruce Wayne, to the world on television before repeatedly injecting Batman with fear toxin to break him before the public. Batman and the Joker battle for control inside Batman's mind. Joker attempts to weaken Batman by recounting the people who have suffered and died because of Batman's crusade, but Batman triumphs and locks the pleading Joker away to his mind forever to be forgotten, the Joker's only fear. Jason Todd, saves Batman, who subdues Scarecrow with his own fear toxin. I think the biggest character 180, fastest character 180 in the history of fiction. Arkham Knight, Jason Todd runs away, and then later, like when Scarecrow has Batman here, he ends up like shooting. I think he like shoots a gun out of Scarecrow's hand or something, and it shows him, and he's got the red mask. He's got he's wearing like a white top or something with like a bat symbol on it in red. And I'm like, how did this happen?
Like he had this already made to go change into, like that's ridiculous.
I'd even believe he made it himself in like 2 hours because there's maybe like a 2-hour time gap between those moments. But I wouldn't even say 2 hours, like an hour and a half at most. But like, where did he hated Batman's fault, blah, 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 to this in just, it seemed like no time at all. I was just like, what in the how in the huh?
Yeah, it's just bad writing. It just seemed like an addition. I felt like they got to the end of it and they felt like the Scarecrow thing wasn't enough.
Anyway, Scarecrow's beaten. Uh, After Batman ensures that Gotham is safe, Gordon dispatches the police to reclaim the streets, and Batman activates the Nightfall Protocol to protect his loved ones. Surrounded by reporters, Batman returns home to Wayne Manor, where he is greeted by Alfred as the pair enter the manor. It explodes, seemingly killing them both. Sometime later, Gordon is now mayor of Gotham, prepares to attend Oracle and Robin's wedding. Elsewhere, two muggers attack a family in an alley, but are confronted by a nightmarish figure resembling Batman. I think it's very interesting to have Oracle, Barbara, and Tim Drake end up together, because in most iterations, she's usually like older than he is.
That's true. Usually they do a thing with her and Dick,
Yeah, like
but
the Arkham series, Tim Drake is always older. You know, he's like, I would say in Arkham, not Arkham City, when you first see him, he's at least, you know, late teens, if not in his 20s already.
I was thinking he was like early to mid 20s.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I would agree with that, and you know, so it's not like it's weird in this universe because there's an age gap there. Because I think Barbara is also younger, but yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I just thought that was a different direction because usually, you know, like you said, it's usually Barbara and Dick, and Barbara and Dick usually are, you know, closer in age, and then Tim is years younger than them, you know, because she's Oracle, he's Nightwing, and both have been for a while before Tim becomes Robin.
Right, exactly. Like she
Yeah.
supposedly becomes Batgirl just a little while after Robin starts.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, that's the story. Other than the Arkham Knight thing, Arkham Knight being Jason Todd, other than that, I like the story. I think it's really good.
It's great. I think it definitely pays off for Scarecrow.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I think it was really cool to see him come back, you know, after Arkham Asylum when he gets, you know, taken by Croc. And then, you know, just teases of him in Arkham City. Just some of the most brilliant teases I've seen in any game. And you know, if you remember the announcement for this game, I think it was at an E3, where like the demo seemed to be glitching and stuff, and because it was like a live demo, is what they
Yeah, I
said. You know,
remember.
those liars is what they said. And you know, it like glitches out, and then it's him like giving that speech. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool way to bring him
Yeah,
back.
they're very theatrical. They
They
do
are very
marketing
theatrical.
like nobody else.
That is accurate. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, but the same cannot be said for Suicide Squad so far.
So far, you're correct. Yeah. Anyway, Noah, that's the story. Let's get into the gameplay.
Right. So the game's free flow combat system allows for basic attacks, including strikes, counters, and dodging, which can be combined to keep Batman attacking while moving between a large group of enemies and avoid being attacked himself. The system adds the ability to combine attacks on prone enemies without interrupting a combo streak. This was something that was really frustrating in the earlier Arkham games because when somebody was on the ground, they weren't a target that you could attack. So you had to attack somebody else and wait for them to get up. So there would be times where everybody was on the ground and your combo would drop because there was nobody for you to hit. In this game, it's like a mechanic where you press a series of buttons and Batman picks them up and you can keep attacking them. You can also just attack them on the ground. Anywho, Batman can counter enemy attacks, something that comes from the other games. He can also throw them into other enemies for increased damage. Something that's new to this game is Batman is capable of disarming enemies and wielding simple weapons like baseball bats or tire irons for himself, and they usually break pretty quickly. I didn't really use that a lot, but I thought it was a cool feature.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just something that I think adds to like the realism, you could say, because it's like it makes sense of, you know, you take a baseball bat from a guy, well, just hit him with it. You know, he was trying to hit you. Let's get some revenge here.
Right. Arkham Knight also introduces dual play, in which players can seamlessly switch between Batman and one of his allies during certain events of the main story. This could be Robin, Nightwing, or Catwoman, depending on what section of the story you're on. And this is in which the player enters. I couldn't understand what this was saying. Is this saying that the combat counter doesn't end when you switch characters?
Yes.
Okay. So what's cool about the combat system involving the two characters is when you switch, if you have a meter built up, you can do a special team attack. And when you switch it out of their character, your combo continues. So if you're going for those achievements or trophies or skill points in Batman, these group challenges make it very easy. You can talk about the gadgets.
Yeah, no, I can talk about the gadgets. Sorry, I did want to comment on the dual play. I did think it was fun. Just another way of Rocksteady to just not give us the co-op we wanted, but still give us something that was really fun. It was something I wished appeared more, because it is like, very specific instances where you do have these co-op combat encounters. So I would say that's my only thing. Like, it was fun. I love playing with the other characters. I just wish it would have been in the game more.
That's true. Two things that we always felt like were missing from the series were being able to play as other characters in the story and free roam and co-op.
Yeah, and there is no shortage of playable characters in this game, in like combat challenges and stuff.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so the gadgets, just, quick run through of the gadgets. You got your batarangs, your bat claw, your explosive gel, your smoke pellet, your line launcher, the remote hacking device. So some kind of new slash changes here. You have the disruptor, which is in Arkham City. You use it to like take down guns. But
you could disrupt the gun
like,
boxes.
Yeah, but in Arkham Knight, a change that I liked was the disruptor became a gun, so you would actually have to like aim and shoot it at a person and hit their gun and stuff. And you could use it on other things as well. But yeah, I don't know, that was just something I liked. It was cool. Then you had the voice synthesizer. Basically, you could, recreate someone's voice, boss, and when you're dealing with their goons, you could specifically the big example would be like Harley Quinn. When you're dealing with her, you can have it say like, hey, come over here, stupid, whatever, and a goon nearby will be like, huh, and walk over, and you can isolate them that way. Just a fun little thing for the Predator challenges. And then of course the freeze blast, remote electrical charge, both return. They're fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say the voice synthesizer was I mean, it's really the only true new gadget in this game, but it is really cool. I mean, it's something that has been missing from this stealth-centered game. Every stealth-centered game has that mechanic, and it's usually you throw a bottle somewhere and it's like they're attracted to the noise. But I like the idea of Batman using a voice synthesizer. I think it's really creative.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, then kind of gadgets, they help with combat. They also help with traversal. Returning from previous Arkham games is, of course, the use of gliding and gadgets to traverse the Gotham skies using the grapnel boost, gliding, which the gliding was made a little more like better,
like streamlined.
Yeah, I guess streamlined, but not more like, I get better,
comfortable.
Like, no, better, like you just naturally glide faster. You glide farther than you do in like Arkham City, Arkham Asylum. Like, yeah, it's just like doing it easier, I guess, in terms of like gliding while close to the ground, stuff like that. I can't think of the word. It's just it's easier to do. Introduced in this game, Arkham Knight, is the Batmobile as a drivable vehicle. The Batmobile can be summoned to the player's location while on foot, or if the player is airborne, summoned to meet Batman as he lands. The vehicle features the ability to perform jumps, speed boosts, rotate on the spot, smash through objects like barricades and trees, and fire missiles that can immobilize enemy vehicles. A Batman can eject from the Batmobile and immediately begin gliding around Gotham City. The Batmobile can also switch to a tank mode with turrets, missiles, and other weapons you get from upgrades like an EMP, kind of different types of missiles and stuff used in fighting enemy drones. Um, the Batmobile, I think, was one of the biggest points of critique for people when this game came out, but I thought it was great.
I was gonna say, to me, the Batmobile is the best and worst part of this game.
I can agree with you in both cases.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why right now. The Batmobile for traversal, it's amazing. You can call it to you, like Jaden said, from the air, and Batman will drop into it or wait for it. It's automatic and he's in it. Boom. It's super quick, very seamless, and you're off. It's fast. It never gets stopped unless you straight up drive into a building or something. And the driving is pretty great. Like, I could zoom around Gotham City. And you use the Batmobile in like regular car chases. I really enjoyed that. But the tank mode, when you use the Batmobile in the tank mode, it feels like an entirely different game. It doesn't really feel like Batman anymore. And I don't know if that's just because like the amount of the tank mode stuff you have to do, because it is a lot. It might be over half the game spent in tank mode. But that is the biggest problem I have with the Batmobile. Other than that, it's great.
I pretty much agree with you. I like the tank sections. I think they're fun. I agree that it very much doesn't feel like a Batman Arkham game. And also I agree that it's just too much, especially like later on in the game when you're fighting like 60 plus, 70 plus enemy drones of different sizes and stuff, and you don't like get health regens as the Batmobile, I'm pretty sure. And like there aren't checkpoints in those fights, so you could spend 30 minutes in an encounter trying to like down to one hit with a bunch of enemies left, and you're trying to survive, and you get down to the last few tanks and one of them gets a shot on you and you die, and you got to redo the whole encounter. And that is where I began to kind of get really frustrated with it, because like I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the whole thing again. Yeah, it's just not great. And the like stealth Batmobile sections also are very much that same thing of like, because of the fact that you have to stealth in a Batmobile, which is just weird, it you can't be spotted by enemies in the Batmobile or you will die instantly. Like even worse than Predator challenges as Batman with enemies with guns shooting you. Like you have a better chance of surviving getting spotted in those than you do in the Batmobile. And you're spending 20 30 minutes stealthing around these 6 7 vehicles that can destroy you instantly, and one mistake and you got to do the whole thing again. It's annoying. I do not like it.
It's annoying, but another type of encounter I want to talk about, and I'm sure we'll get into this deeper later, is the Riddler races, which is just when you take the Batmobile on a racetrack, basically. These I enjoyed. They're really fun, but again, does not feel like Batman at all.
Yeah.
It really has no place in this game.
Yeah. Anyway, now we get to the additional gameplay mechanics. So Predator encounters obviously are back. Really, I just wanted to talk about this new mechanic. I didn't know where else to put it, but it is the Fear multi-takedown, where initially you can take down 3 enemies in rapid succession. You can upgrade it until you can eventually take down 6 enemies in rapid succession, and man, you feel cool while doing it. I think it's probably my favorite new mechanic added into this game. I loved it.
I actually did not like this very much. I almost never used it because I felt like the Predator encounters were not difficult enough, and taking 3 to 6 enemies out to start off is already putting me ahead. I I guess I wanted to be challenged more.
Yeah, I,
But
I
as
honestly,
for like the spectacle of it, it looks really cool.
I guess I would have to agree with you there. It certainly does make Predator challenges easier, and even just overall large combat encounters easier when you can take out a huge chunk of enemies at once. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I do. But, at the end of the day, I'll take cool.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I used it, but it wasn't a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Hmm.
used to, and I feel like they kind of balance it out by like, because the enemies have to be close enough for it to initiate,
Yeah.
and that doesn't always happen. Oh,
Um,
let's get to the worst part of this game.
I disagree with you. So Riddler collectibles. It was actually kind of hard to find a comparison to Arkham City because there are like the physical Riddler challenges in Arkham City that count towards the total, and I swear there are those in Arkham Knight, but I could not find anything that separated them. Anyway, there are 312 that I could find in terms of a tally Riddler collectibles in total. In Arkham City, there's 400. So there's already almost 100 less. I think over 100 less because I think my calculation here is an over like a high number in the range of numbers I saw. So a lot less than Arkham City. They kind of realized they went a little overboard there.
That's good. There's still too many though.
I honestly can't comment on that because I have played Arkham City and gotten all of the Riddler trophies in Arkham City multiple times. I've only played through Arkham Knight once and got all the Riddler stuff once, so I cannot comment on that actually in terms of if it feels like more or whatever. But anyway, the trophies, the riddles, and the breakable objects all return. All three of those have been in every Arkham game. The trophies, obviously. The riddles, I love the riddles. I love them. There's not enough. There are never enough
The
riddles.
riddles, yeah, they're the only ones I
I
love. If
love
it
the
was
riddles.
312 riddles, I would have a completely different mindset.
That is, yeah. And then the breakable objects in Arkham Asylum, it was just like it was the Joker teeth. In Arkham City and Arkham Knight, it's a different object depending on what area you're in. And then a new one. There's not a lot of these, but it is a new actual Riddler thing. The bomb rioters. They're inmates that have bombs planted in their brains by the Riddler. Batman must discreetly locate them and deactivate the bombs with the remote electrical charge. I said there's not a lot, but it is something new, and I thought, at least they're changing it up.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Not like deep, but cool.
Yeah. Anyway, then you have the additional Riddler challenges. You have your combat challenges, the Predator challenges. Obviously, both of those returning from uh, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Noah, as you mentioned previously, the races in the Batmobile. They're 3 laps, usually timed races, going through like a kind of obstacle course racetrack that a lot of times each lap change, like something happens that each lap is not the exact same, so you have to do different stuff. I thought these were so fun. I loved them. But again, I do agree with what you say. It feels weird and out of place in an Arkham game.
That's true, but like when you get into the DLC and stuff, like driving around in the 1960s Batmobile, it's awesome.
I agree with you, and for DLC, it's fine. And even if they were only in the challenges, I'd be like, yeah, they put the Batmobile in. It's a fun little thing. Who gives a shit? But you do also, like the tank encounters in the Batmobile, you do it quite a lot in the story, which again is like not very Arkham feeling. Like it's weird in the story.
I agree. Speaking of
Uh,
side missions,
side missions.
let's segue.
I don't know where you were segueing there. That was a terrible segue. Uh, anyway, so in Arkham Knight, they are called the most wanted, because each side mission, for the most part, is based around a different villain that is you have to capture, arrest, put in prison before the end of the game. There are a lot. Typical, Arkham City had 16. Arkham Knight, I don't know the exact number, but I honestly don't think it's as much, but it's still up there. So there are the notable ones that I felt like. First, I didn't include them in the notable. I did just want to mention them because there are like 4 different side missions that are just about doing things with the militia, like taking out militia roadblocks, taking out like militia mines, and a bunch of stuff like that. Those suck. I hate them. Okay, let's move on. Noah, did you have a comment on those?
I do have a comment actually. I too am not fond of those cleanup missions, because you can have that be like an objective and not have it be an extra side mission taking up a slot just to pad your side missions and make it look like you
Yeah.
have more.
Like I know there's like radio towers or something that you have to take out.
There's the radio
Uh,
towers, the mines. Then there's like,
roadblocks
yep.
and
Oh, and the flying drones.
the drones. It's again like fine, but there's so many that it is just such a grind to end up taking them all out.
I don't
And
mind grinding. I just hate that it takes up four side mission slots when I consider it all one mission.
well, I mean, no, to me, it's both. Like, I agree with you that it's taking up a lot of slots. Like, it's like, you said padding the game, but also, like, there's 20 mines or something that you have to take out. And each mine, you have to go up to it. You have to, like, start, like, hacking it pretty much. And then you have to defend it while it's being hacked against a bunch of drones that are sent to attack you. With the roadblocks, it's like a little mini predator encounter in a tiny area against a lot of guys with a lot of guns. And then, like radio towers, whatever, like they're up high and usually they're guided by snipers that can see you coming from anywhere. So you have to like come low and it's just annoying, man. Like there's just so many of all of them that I just got really, really annoyed with it really quickly.
Yeah, they're definitely horrible missions. Barring those missions, though, I still feel like Arkham Knight's base side missions are better than any other Arkham games.
I 100% agree with that. Examples. So we have the perfect crime where you keep finding all these dead bodies and eventually you discover Professor Pig, his Arkham series debut. I love Professor Pig. I think he's just such a wacky villain that is also very serious. I was really glad to see him in this game.
He's so creepy and disturbing, and they just portrayed it very well.
Yeah. Creature of the Night, Man Bat. Man, that jump scare got me.
I think it got all of us. I still don't even understand how it works, like mechanically in the game, Like, is it when you grapple on that certain spot or when you grapple off of any building after that specific story instance? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. It's it's cool. It's a fun little thing. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Again, Man Bat, really cool. Like to get him in there.
You gonna
Uh,
explain the mission?
the mission? Oh, I guess he's flying around in an area. You have to get above him, land on top of him, and you have to like first extract blood from him, which I think takes 2 times. You have to find him, and then you have to do it a third time where you have a cure, and you have to get on top of him and shoot him with the cure to turn him back into Kirk Langstrom. And that's the mission. Yeah, it's fun.
It's great. Man-Bat is one of my favorite side villains in Batman history, and I think he's long overdue. You know how like they've been going back and like rebooting these side villains and making them more serious? Like a good example is Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
They kind of made him a serious character there. Calendar Man recently has got a lot of attention.
Yep.
Hush, these
Yeah.
types of villains who don't really like, they're not really big villains. And they really just kind of have their one story and then they're gone. I would like to have seen like them do a twist, like maybe where he becomes like conscious as Man Bat or something like that.
Yeah.
Or,
My only complaint about the mission is the fact that Man Bat is really in the game for a very, very small amount of time. But yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, that surprise and being like, oh shit, Man Bat's in this game. That's awesome. Anyway, then there's a gun runner, destroy Penguin gun caches with Nightwing's help. Nightwing, obviously, Noah, your favorite comic book character. I also like Nightwing. He's basically like he's probably the closest to Spider-Man DC has in terms of like quippy. He's always, got something smart to say and I love it.
You talking about Two-Face?
I'm talking about Nightwing. What?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I missed that. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about the gun running missions?
Yes.
Because I want to complain.
Okay.
They stuffed my boy into a side mission. Robin gets, main story bits. Oracle gets main story bits. And Nightwing is just busting up Penguin's little Gun running ring.
Hey man, that's what you get sometimes. He was the only one who wasn't in the main story. Even Jason Todd got in the main story, Noah.
That's so true. I didn't even think about that.
Like the amount of
That's not true.
disrespect.
Catwoman.
That's true. She did get, although very big side mission she's a part of. Anyway, so then you have Two-Face Bandit, Two-Face Robin Banks. It's like it's like a Predator challenge where you have to like take out a certain, like there's an unlimited number of enemies and you just have to like take out a certain number, and then I think the rest of the guys, because it's something like you have to take out like 15 enemies, or you have to like build up like a fear meter or something, and then like they give up robbing the bank and just are trying to stop you, and you have to take out the rest of the guys. It's pretty cool. I think it was a cool kind of twist.
Yeah, and in all these side missions, you get to fight the villain in the end and actually capture them and take them to
Correct.
prison, which is awesome.
Yeah. And then Riddler's Revenge. You have to solve challenges to help save Catwoman. Once again, much like Arkham City, I feel like the amount of Riddler trophies, challenges, riddles kind of buries the challenges, puzzles you have to solve to save. Like in Arkham City, you're saving hostages. In Arkham Knight, you like Catwoman has like a explosive collar on that you have to like get 9 keys to take the end up getting the bomb collar deactivated so you can take it off. So it's like you end up doing 9 challenges to get all these keys, and they're all just super fun. I love them.
Yeah, I like the actual challenges. Getting all the Riddler stuff to get there was not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most wanted side missions. Now we move on to our notable trophies. Three notable trophies in this one, Noah. The first one, Brutality 101. Perform 15 different combat moves in one free flow. Free flow being a combo, obviously. So this is, if you remember, Perfect Free Flow 2.0. This is the return of that from Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Very disappointing, actually, because 1, they didn't keep the naming convention, and 2, it is far, far easier in Arkham Knight than it was in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Because anyone who listened to our Arkham City episode would know that in Arkham City, we wrote down all the different combat moves on a piece of paper. I checked them off as you were playing through, and I would tell you what moves you were missing, because you had to do every single move. And there are a lot, like every single move, which is over 15. Like in Arkham City, I think the list was like 21 or 23 different moves. It's pretty big. But then in Arkham Knight, all you have to do is 15 in a game with more combat moves than Arkham City, so there's more variety too.
Right. In truth, this trophy should be the most difficult, but they made it way easier.
Yeah. Even like what's it called? Even because in this game you have the because you can do it in combat challenges, which is where I did it, but you have at some point you have the dual play. So you have 2 fighters, which instantly even more increases your combat moves and stuff, because you have 2 fighters. It's just like I was very like, this is legitimately something I was looking forward to when Arkham Knight came out, was this combat trophy, how difficult it would be, and oh man, I wonder like how long the list is going to be and stuff. And it was just 15 moves. I was very disappointed. Then there's Dirty Tricks. Achieve 3 minutes of drifting time in the Batmobile. Noah, I hate this. I hate this trophy. Any trophy like this, I hate. Another experience I had with a trophy very similar to this was in Days Gone, where you had to do drifting for 15 minutes. I think it might have been 10, but 10, 15 minutes in that game. It's stupid. I hate it. Like, I don't drift a lot naturally. So for me, for both games, it's me just like in the Batmobile, just drifting in a donut for, 3 minutes, just doing it, waiting for this trophy to pop. I hate it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I just hate it. I hate it. That's it.
This one I don't know anything about. What is this?
What? The Long Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Long Halloween. Wayne versus Crane in New Story Plus. Beat the story on New Game Plus. That's it.
Oh, I like the title.
Yeah, one, as we've mentioned previously, I hate having to beat New Game Plus for a trophy. Whatever. The Long Halloween, I love the name because it's the Long Halloween. Wayne versus Crane is the trophy you get for beating the story. Like, that's the description of the trophy you get for beating the story regularly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't
Like,
know that.
yeah, like the trophy for beating the story is like whatever the trophy is called, Wayne versus Crane. And this, it's Wayne versus Crane in New Story Plus. I think the description is cute, I guess, but again, I hate when you make me do it. I hate when you make me do New Game Plus.
Do I have the platinum in Arkham Knight?
I don't think so. I would say no.
That's a bummer.
I'm 99% sure you don't. Anyway, that's it. Very basic trophy list. A lot of a lot of story related trophies, and then a lot of, do whatever X amount of times. Anyway, now move on to our questions. Favorite moments, Noah.
My favorite moment of this game is actually when Harley goes back to the place with all the Jokers and releases them, and then you take them out one at a time, and they all have like different Joker-fied personalities and ways of like messing with Batman and like defending themselves. I think it's really interesting.
I completely agree with you. That is a very cool moment. My favorite is the guy who sings to you as Batman. That's a cool one. My favorite is, I love the final Joker stuff when Batman is captured by Crane and like Joker and him are fighting in his mind and Joker takes over for a bit. Because one, you have like the rogues gallery that are like planning about against you, and then you arrive in like the Joker Batmobile that for some reason was never released as an alternate skin for the Batmobile, whatever. And like you kill all their people, and then you have like Penguin who's like holding the hostage, and you shoot the hostage as Joker like with a shotgun, and then you shoot Penguin and stuff. And it's cool because like even though you're playing as Joker in that moment, you have to think like, to the people, they're all seeing Batman do this stuff because that's like what it is, because this is like a hypothetical future where Joker has taken over Batman's body.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And then, the moments where Joker, like you're kind of like in a first person shooter thing as Joker's going through like his, like the funeral that Harley has where she's the only one there, and kind of going through Arkham and Batman, and just that whole thing where Batman ends up taking control. Just such a cool moment. Yeah, that's it. Favorite boss battle, Noah?
That's tough. I'm having trouble even remembering a boss battle.
Arkham Knight.
Name a couple of the boss battles.
Arkham Knight, Riddler, tanks.
Right, that's it. Maybe that's our problem here. Where are the bosses? You said the Arkham Knight, that's not a boss fight. That's the Arkham Knight sitting in a sniping position and you sneak up to him. There are no boss fights in this game.
I mean, what about the cultist guy? Is that a boss fight?
No.
Okay.
You beat up his people and then you break into the cage and just take him out in one hit.
Okay, so your favorite boss fight is none of the above.
If there was one,
okay.
I would have picked it. I guess,
okay.
Yeah, the Riddler counts because he's actually in a fighting robot and you're attacking him.
Yeah, he has a health bar and stuff. You actually have to fight him. Yeah, no, mine is the Riddler. I thought it was really cool. A really cool payoff for 3 games of getting his trophies and taking him down and stuff. And like, obviously he has his robots attack you that like only like Catwoman has to take out some of them. So she comes in and helps you. Really cool fight. I thought it was a really cool, like, send off for the Riddler.
I agree. I liked it. I thought it was fun. And he actually fought for himself this time, which he's never done.
Anyway, all right. What we didn't like about the game, Noah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the fact that there aren't any true boss battles.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of people that should have had boss battles. Red Hood should have had a good hand-to-hand fight with Batman. At one point, you fight Deathstroke in a tank, and that's it. So there's not really a boss battle.
Okay. I've got 3 things. 2 things we pretty much talked about already. The Too Much Batmobile and Jason Todd. I just, those are just things I don't like. Here's the big thing for me is this game has the worst payoffs in the history of anything. Like 5 years between Arkham City and Arkham Knight for them to come up with payoffs for a lot of the grade A, I would say some of the best like cliffhanger hints in history in Arkham City, that just no payoff at all in Arkham Knight. There are really 3 big examples. One, I don't blame Rocksteady for as much, but as you said, Deathstroke appears in this game as like he takes over the militia after Arkham Knight goes AWOL. That was a surprise. I didn't expect it, but I was like, oh, cool, it's Deathstroke. But your quote unquote big boss fight against Deathstroke is just one of those Batmobile stealth missions that you take his tank out, then he jumps out of the tank, Batman jumps out of the Batmobile, kicks him in the face, and boom, he's done.
He's done.
Honestly, if I had to guess, which I don't know, and anything behind the scenes of anything, but if I had to guess, after Arkham Origins, someone higher ups at WB said Deathstroke has to be in this game. And Rocksteady did not want him in their game because he was never in their Arkham series to begin with. And WB said, no, you have to put him in this game. We are not letting you, we're not letting you release this game unless he is in it. And this is what they did. Like, I would not,
that.
I have to imagine, because why else would they put him in this game in such like a stupid fight like that? Then the 2 other big things. Number 1, Hush. The Hush side mission in Arkham City is one of my favorite side missions in any game I've ever played. Just finding the people, scanning their faces, like slowly Batman going mad because it like keeps finding evidence that it's Bruce Wayne that is committing all these crimes, to when you find him and he reveals his face and he just leaves. So cool. So exciting to see how that would pay off. And how does it pay off? Batman loses communication with Lucius Fox. He goes to Wayne
Tower,
where Tommy Elliott as Bruce Wayne took Lucius hostage, sent all of Bruce Wayne's money to his bank account, and then Batman slams him into a desk and he's out.
I mean, like, we're talking about a hyper intelligent, supposed to be like one of Batman's like greatest matches,
Yeah, he's a
play for
surgeon.
play. He's right, exactly. And his master plan is to waltz into Wayne Tower and just take it hostage.
Yeah, just I can't believe it. That again, something I have to imagine is this. I imagine it's a bunch of dudes sitting in like a conference room, and they're like, "Oh man, like it's time, guys. We can declare Arkham Knight gold. Like we've got everything. We'll just buff out some extra stuff. Got it. This game is great." And then one guy was like, "Hey, didn't we like tease Hush in Arkham City?" And everyone just was like, "Oh shit." And
I could believe that. That's so true. And I love thinking about like the look on my face when I get to that side mission, because I'm like, what the fuck's going on with Lucius? And I get there and I'm like, Hush? Oh no, please tell me he gets away. I'm like, something, please.
oh my god, and then third, again, so Calendar Man in Arkham City, he's just hidden in a underground cell in the courthouse. One of, again, like coolest Easter eggs in the history of video games. You talk to him on every holiday. He tells you a creepy story of a crime he committed and Batman and someone trying to stop him. And he's just like Calendar Man was just one of those only joke characters to me. Like, wow, look at this guy, he's Calendar Man. And Arkham City like made him just super scary, like insane serial killer guy. And then if you talk to him, if you set your console calendar to like April 2006, the date, I think it's April 13th, the date Rocksteady was founded. And he gives this speech about like being there at Batman's beginning, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be there at your end with like fire and whatever, hell, whatever. And then in the Nightfall cutscene, 100%, he's there in the crowd and that's it.
That's it.
Like you
He's like,
sort of
he's
see it,
just sitting there like, I was right.
like you literally can just see his stupid bald head with his like calendar days burned into his forehead all around, and it's just there. He doesn't do anything. Like you barely see him. He's just there.
Could you imagine how great this game would have been if it would be like, oh, Scarecrow wasn't even the main villain. It was actually Calendar Man and Hush.
I mean, my God, man. And then on a lesser extent, the Azrael payoff wasn't great, but at least like there's a side mission. He's there. You do stuff with him, you know?
You get to play as him.
Yeah, like it's an extended kind of thing, but my God, dude, like I will never forgive Rocksteady for Calendar Man and Hush. I will never do it. Ugh.
There's always Gotham Knights. Maybe WB Montreal has our backs.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, replayability, beat and delete.
I agree. This is a beat and delete.
I sometimes think about playing it, and then I don't.
I think it's funny that you put that because I actually have gone back and like re-downloaded it and done like just challenge missions as Nightwing and Red Hood and whatever.
I like. I mean, there's so many like DLC like trophies and stuff that I've always thought like, and like, yeah, I'll play it and like do some challenge missions as each of the characters and get the number of stars required because it wouldn't be that hard. And I just never have like never went back and did it. And at this point, it's like I don't know if I ever will, But yeah, beat and delete. Anyway, now we've got a lot of DLC to go through. So I think we're gonna do just very brief little conversations about each of these. First, you've got your Gotham City stories, where you play as short, about hour-long missions as other characters. There are 4 in the game. As pre-order bonus DLC, you got Harley Quinn and Red Hood, and then later released Nightwing and Catwoman. These are fun. They're just fun short stories. And actually, I think I screwed up. There's actually a Robin one too. There's actually 5.
There is a Robin one. These are awesome. I loved all of them. They're very contained. They're short. Their stories don't really matter. They just pretty much have like a Predator section and then a combat section and then it's over.
Yeah.
And it's just nice because it showcases all the different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to play as Red Hood in a story setting for a second. That's fun.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I really enjoy them. Like they're really fun. They're really short. And then there's Matter of Family, which is a Harley Quinn's revenge-sized Batgirl prequel story where you're on like a amusement mile, take on the Joker to save Commissioner Gordon. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. It's really straightforward,
Yeah.
But Batgirl feels unique enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was like it's longer than all the others. It's about the size of Harley Quinn's Revenge for people who have played that. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like I played through it once. I think I completed it, got all the trophies for it, and didn't regret my time. And then we have the Season of Infamy, which a lot of people give credit to Arkham Knight, which I'm one of them, for really showing how doing a season pass of DLC should be done, which is what they did with Season of Infamy, where literally like once a month, a new mission came out. And each of these missions would probably take you about an hour and a half to do, like additional side missions. And they're fun. So you have the mission Wonderland, which is all about the Mad Hatter, Shadow War about the League of Assassins, Beneath the Surface about Killer Croc, In From the Cold, Mr. Freeze. One thing I did not say at all in the episode so far, but I think one thing Arkham Knight did really well for the most part, it was, I would say, one of the best like final parts of a story I've ever seen in terms of wrapping up characters' stories. And the Season of Infamy was like the icing on the cake of all 4 of these missions. Like everyone's done. Like I wasn't left with any questions about like any character when these stories were done.
That's true. And I was thinking about this when I was thinking about Arkham Knight before we recorded, and I wanted to mention how well it wraps up. And I was thinking about like Mr. Freeze specifically,
Yeah.
his storyline. And so Mr. Freeze, the In from the Cold and the Wonderland are the two DLCs that I think are the best. The other two are great too, but I just think, Mad Hatter and Mr. Freeze are two characters I wanted to see more of.
Hmm.
Whereas I felt like Killer Croc and the League of Assassins we might have seen enough.
Yeah. Well, Killer Croc was never that big of a character, so it was kind of surprising to see him get a mission dedicated to him. Because I mean, he had that one moment in Arkham Asylum. He was only in Arkham City as an Easter egg, and Arkham Origins doesn't count. So it was kind of weird to see him get his own side mission. But I thought that side mission was
Arkham
really
Origins
fun.
counts.
Sure, but I mean, even then though, he's like the first assassin you take out. He's not in that game that much either.
No, but he is in every single game.
This sort of.
I'm just saying, we could have had a side mission dedicated to Polka Dot Man. We could have had Prometheus. Like, I don't know, some weird ones out there.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean they would absolutely, I imagine, only do returning characters in terms of the DLC.
Maybe that's fair.
But they're all fun. I enjoy them.
All right, so
And well, we do have to also there, obviously additional Riddler challenge maps, Batmobile races, and skins. Arkham City especially became like a joke kind of game with all the DLC skins. I have absolutely no problem with it. I love alternate skins in games like this, alternate, Batman costumes, and I loved it.
I'm here for alternate skins. I would prefer not to have to pay for them. I would like to only have to pay for like gameplay content.
I get what you're saying.
But these are like additional along with gameplay content, and
Yeah,
that's like perfect.
I did have that thought earlier of I think it's dumb, which Arkham City sort of did, of paying exclusively for alternate costumes, alternate skins. But I'm in the instance of Arkham Knight, every time it came with like missions and stuff. Like it wasn't like, oh, you're paying for the 1966 Batmobile skin. You're paying for the 1966 Batmobile mission pack, which comes with the Batmobile skin. So yeah, that's the stuff that I think is, where it's okay to have the alternate skins. But either way, I love alternate skins, so I loved it. Final thoughts on Arkham Knight, Noah?
All in all, Arkham Knight stands as another superb game developed by Rocksteady. They've had 3 AAA balls thrown at them and they're all out of the park. All right. But to me, looking at the Arkham series, including Origins, Arkham Knight stands as the weakest of the 4. Just because the things that take away from it take away a lot. But there's still that great Arkham storytelling and content and, side mission arcs. All of that stuff is still there. So it's still a great game.
I think that this is my 3rd of 4 Arkham games. I would put Origins below it, but I do agree. I think, honestly, no, after talking about it today, I think I'd have to put this one at 4. And I think there are several things that play against this one. Because honestly, I think in terms of like replaying, I can and have replayed Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Like I've probably beaten both of those games at least like 7, 8 times. And I would gladly like play any of them again because it helps that they are shorter than Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight is by far the longest game in the series. And even like Arkham Origins, I think I would replay Arkham Origins over Arkham Knight. Like, I don't think saying I will never play Arkham Knight again is like, I don't think that's unreasonable of me to say because I honestly don't think I will. Compared to the other 3 that I think I could pick up and play at any moment if I wanted to.
That's true. The only reason I've replayed Arkham Knight over Arkham City is because Arkham Knight has Batgirl and Red Hood.
Like I could see myself picking up Arkham Knight to play maybe some Batmobile races, some challenge maps, just to play as the different characters because that is the one thing it has over the other games is the races are fun and there are a lot of playable characters. But, I think in terms of like if I want to sit down and just, play through a story, do some detective mode shit and everything, I I think I'd have to go with I think I'd have to put Arkham Knight as my least favorite.
One of us. All right, so without any further ado, let's get straight to the indie bit, the bit where we talk about indie games.
Yay!
Today, we are talking about Typoman Revised. So, Typoman Revised is a game that we bought on sale very recently. I think it was less than $5. Do you know?
I don't know for sure, but that sounds accurate.
Yeah, it might have been $4, which would mean we paid 2 each. But it is a game where you play as a character, Ha, who is made of letters, and everything in the world is made of letters, and they spell out words. And the game itself is a platformer puzzle solver. It's not unlike your Inside, or I can't remember what the first one was called.
Limbo.
Limbo, yeah, not unlike those. And so it's very short. It's maybe like 2 hours of gameplay straight, maybe 3 if you don't mess anything up. I mean, like if you know how to do everything, you can finish
I'll
it in probably
say,
like an hour and a half.
as someone who did that, it took me an hour and 15 minutes.
Right, okay. So I probably played it and finished it in like 2 hours. But there's not much of a story. It's kind of confusing. Your character's going through this world, and there's good words and bad words. Like words like fear and hate create like monsters made of words that try to attack you. And good words like life or safe will create like a bubble of protection around you. So the puzzles revolve around the word play. So there will be like chords that you have to cut, or machines that are off, and you have to create a word that's on. And they just increase you know slightly in difficulty as you go throughout the game. Like Jaden, I pretty much watched a walkthrough the whole time, so I knew how to solve all the puzzles before I got there.
I don't know why you're saying like Jaden. I didn't do that.
You didn't do that?
Not my first playthrough.
Oh yeah, I did, just because and I guess I'll get to this part. I didn't really enjoy it. I like the wordplay part. Like I wish there was a game that took that concept and like made it a little deeper, maybe more fun, interactive, interesting. But this being a lower budget game, it's just very kind of shallow. There's not much there. And that's okay. It's still a great time for a couple of hours. But by the end of it, I was like, I couldn't wait for the game to be done.
I don't think I can disagree with you more. I love this game. I thought the, use of the letters to spell words that are used to solve puzzles was ingenious. I think to make a game even as long as this one is, with the words like necessary and the words doing what they do, must have just been so much work going into it.
I'm not disrespecting it. I'm just saying, I love this concept. I just wish it was elevated.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I wish it was longer. But like, I wish it was, I guess, like you said, more in depth. But like, I'm not saying that as a negative to Peach Seed, who are the developers of the game. Just like, I just wish there was more of it. It's a really good thing. Yeah, I just thought it was ingenious. The use of like the word lie to make these little lie creatures that turn words into the opposite was just awesome. I did get the platinum in this game, so I did have to beat it, dying no more than 5 times. That was where I told you it took me like an hour and 15 minutes was when I did that. And yeah, no, I thought the story was great. My only complaint about the game is that to get the platinum trophy, you have to complete the antonomizer minigame. The antonomizer minigame, how that works, you're given like up to like you're given 12 letters, the 5 vowels and 7 random consonants, and in like a machine that can, spit out letters. I don't know exactly what you would call it. And using those letters, you have to spell a word. Say the word is like hero, but you don't have H or R. So using your available letters, you have to spell a word, and then using infinitely respawning lie creatures, you have to create a word that you can then turn into the opposite that has the letters you need. For example, if you need the letter, H, say you spell the word sad, and then the opposite being happy, it gives you the letter H. You have to do that 163 times. And it is just such a drag. Like, looking up, like, there's not really a guide you can use for this other than like having lists of words you can use to get letters you need, which is what I had. It was like maybe 5 hours of my total playtime for this game, which I would say it didn't even take me 10 hours to complete this game. 5 hours of that was just this one game, this mini game, and it is just excessive.
That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
just gonna blindly. Oh, okay.
I just want to say, also, the trophy for beating this mini game is a bronze trophy. That's bullshit. It should be gold. There are like 8 gold trophies in this game, and that is not one of them. Stupid. It should be a gold trophy. Pete Seed, what are you doing? Noah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna blindly complain about the game. I did want to point out what specifically I don't like. Basically up until just before the final boss feels like tutorial to me. Like there's only one way to solve everything up until that point. And then that's when you like get to the word generator thing that you're talking about. And you're right, you can't have a guide for that because the arranged letters are different every time. And that's why like the only part of the game I really enjoyed was the boss fight because I actually had to come up with the words. I was like, oh no, I can't have a guide for this.
I do agree with that. I don't think it negatively affected my opinion of the game as much as you do, as much as it did for you. But I do agree that a lot of times there is only one solution to a puzzle, which in a game with words as your weapon is very limiting. Like that's something that like Scribblenauts has going for it. Of like, yeah, you can type literally any word in the English language into Scribblenauts, but multiple words will solve the same problem. But in Typoman, that is not really a thing. So I agree with you with that. I don't know. Is that all we have to say about Typoman?
That's it.
All right. So then our next indie bit game is Projection First Light. That's a game we also bought on sale at the exact same time we bought Typoman. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I know literally nothing about it, so.
I have beaten it. Got the platinum. Can't wait to talk about it. Anyway, don't forget, new episodes every other Monday. Rate and subscribe. Tell us if you like our show. Tell us if you don't, and tell us why. Tell your friends and enemies about the podcast. And you can follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, for updates on episodes. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Super Gamer Bros, one word, capital S, capital G, capital B, if you want. And yeah, we'll see you guys next game.
Bye.